Hello Tyrians and welcome to Cooking with Kasmeer! This is an extra special day because we have a very big birthday celebration. Happy birthday, Jory! Okay, I have to give you your present first. I just can't wait. I can't wait. Are you ready? I got you curtains! Oh, wait, hold on. That's better. Sorry. I forgot to dispel the illusion. I'll give you your presents later. I'll dispel another illusion, if you know what I mean. It's not Jory's birthday? Guild Wars 2? Wasn't the Guild Wars like 300 years ago? Oh, like we're breaking the fourth wall. Okay! Happy birthday, Guild Wars 2! Woo! Congratulations, ArenaNet! To celebrate today, we are going to bake a yummy chocolate birthday cake! Alright, so to get started, to make the best ever chocolate fudge layer cake with strawberries, what you're going to need is you're going to need a bowl, strawberries, or whatever other fruit or yummy toppings you want to put on, 8 squares of baker's chocolate, 2 of them crushed up, half a cup of water, half a cup of oil, 1 cup of sour cream, 4 eggs. Now these are chicken eggs. If you're using MOA eggs, they're a little bigger, so make sure to do the math. Our special blend of baker's dry ingredients, and your white frosting. You can set aside the white frosting and the main part of the chocolate bar, as well as your fruit or whatever toppings you're going to use, because we are going to do those after the cake is baked. So the number one thing you have to do when you bake a cake is preheat the oven. This one calls for 350. Next thing we have to do is kind of one of the icky parts, I think, is we have to grease your cake pans. Now, I use for this, it makes it all fancy if you have 2 9-inch round cake pans. If you don't, you can just use any cake pan. It'll turn out the same. So you can use whatever you want to grease the pans, whether you use some butter and flour or cooking spray. The thing I like to use, although it's kind of the ickiest, is Crisco. Not the easiest thing to find in Tyria, but if you search hard enough in Divinity's Reach, you'll be able to find it. So just get a big old glob of it and grease up your cake pans. Just a thin layer is all you need, just so the cake doesn't stick to the pan. Alright, once you're done with that, you can set your cake pans aside. Now we're ready to mix the rest of the ingredients and make the cake. If you haven't already, take 2 of the chocolate squares and chop them up very fine. Be very careful, use a cutting board and a sharp knife, and keep your fingers out of there, okay? First, you're going to want to take your chocolate baker's dry ingredients and put it in a bowl. Now add the water, oil, sour cream, and the eggs. Best to crack them in another bowl first, and then pour them into the big bowl so that you don't get shells in your ingredients. Put those in there and start mixing. Make sure you get it mixed up really good so that all the ingredients are blended in with each other. Make sure to get all of the dry ingredients off the bottom and off the sides so that everything is mixed in. I actually do have one of those newfangled Asuran mixers. Does this for you. But I'm doing it the hard way. If you want to make this just a little bit healthier, or maybe not as bad for you, you can use low-fat sour cream and low-fat icing for this. It's not going to make it healthy, but it's going to make it not quite as bad. Okay, so once you have this mixed up very well, just sprinkle in your chopped chocolate and mix that up. Okay, get back out your cake pans. If you just have 1, just pour the whole thing into 1. If you have 2, then try to get it as even as you can. Okay, so now you've got your 2 cake pans, or 1, and now stick them in the oven. Bake them for about 30 to 35 minutes until you can stick a toothpick in about 1 inch from the edge and the toothpick comes out clean. You don't want any gooey stuff still in the middle. And now we wait. Ding! They're done! Now very carefully, turn them over and dump them out onto a cooling rack if you have one. Let them sit and let them cool completely, and then we will make the frosting. Once your cakes are almost completely cool, you can set them aside for now, and we're going to make the icing. All you're going to need for this is the rest of your chocolate bar, that should be 6 squares, and your white cream frosting. Get yourself a microwave safe bowl and put the white frosting in. Now you are going to have to use a microwave for this. If you don't have a microwave, you might have to go all the way to Route Assume to get one, but they're very easy to find. Take your chocolate squares and just break them up as much as you can with your hands. You don't have to chop them up into tiny, teeny little pieces or anything like before. Even just this whole square is fine. Just as much as you can easily do with your hands. Put those in there and stick it in the microwave. So go ahead and stick the bowl with the frosting and the chocolate in the microwave. Put it on a minute, and then after a minute, get a spoon and just stir it up real good so that the chocolate starts to melt and starts to blend. And then put it back in for another minute. Do the same thing. Take it out, mix it up, and blend it. And just keep doing that for a minute at a time until the chocolate is completely melted and the whole thing is blended real well. The frosting is going to melt very quickly. It'll be liquidy. Be careful because it will be hot. The chocolate will take a while to melt, so just be careful and maybe try and break it up. As you can see, this is almost ready. This is after 2 minutes and a lot of stirring, but there's still some big chocolate chunks in here. So I'm going to put it in for 1 more minute, and that should completely melt all the chocolate. Oh man, I made a mess. Alright, at this point I switched to a whisk just to make sure that everything is blended really nicely. Be careful because this is going to be very hot coming out of the microwave. But just blend it in. You're going to have this nice chocolate icing. Okay, now set this aside for about 15 minutes or so. You want it to thicken up just a little bit. While that's cooling, get back out your cakes and flip them over. And what you're going to want to check for is to make sure that the top of the cake is flat. Usually they'll rise in the middle, and sometimes they go back down, and sometimes there's still a little bit of a rise. If so, you're going to want to take a long knife and just kind of saw and make it flat. Mine looks to be okay, so I am ready to go as soon as the frosting's ready. Okay, my frosting is cool. Now comes the fun part. You're going to want to get a container or a plate or whatever you're going to put your cake on. Take 1 layer of the cake and put it down. And then we're going to put our frosting, just a little bit of it, in between to kind of act as both a glue to kind of keep them together and just so we have a yummy chocolate fudgy filling in between the cakes. So just give it 1 more real good stir. Take a spatula and just put just a little bit. You're going to want most of the frosting on top for the covering, for the outside of the cake. So just put a thin layer in between. Okay, now take your second cake and you're going to want to flip it over. So this is the part that cooled on the cooling rack, so it's got this like grate on it. I'm going to flip that over so that I've got this flat part for the top of the cake. Put that right on top, match it up. Ah. Now comes the most fun part of all. Get all your icing scooped and ready to pour. And then we're just going to pour this right on top. The last time I made this cake, it was much runnier. I poured it in the middle and it literally just ran over the sides of the cake like perfectly. This time it's a little thicker. In this case, what you can do is you can take just a regular spatula, or even better yet, if you actually have a cake decorating spatula, that's what I'm gonna use to just spread the icing across the top and hopefully it just kind of goos over the edge. You're not going to cover every single inch of the outside of the cake like a normal cake that you would see. This is more meant to be just like a fudge icing rather than like a frosting that you decorate with. But this one came out a little thicker. I know how to make cakes and pastries. I don't have 400 ranks in cooking. So just do the best you can. No matter how pretty or unpretty it looks, it's gonna taste the same, and it's gonna taste fantastic. Now I just turned it around. That side facing you guys was actually the ugly side. Ta-da! Now the best thing to do would be to add some strawberries, blackberries, peanuts, walnuts, something like that to accentuate and decorate it up a little bit. My favorite thing to do is to dress it up with strawberries. So all I've done here is I've sliced strawberries in half and just gone around and stuck them to the sides. That's all you have to do. And I like to take slices of strawberries, make a little flower on top. Now I'll take my strawberry flower that I made and put it right down in the middle. And voila! We have a chocolate fudge strawberry birthday cake fit for the birthday of Guild Wars 2. The only thing we need is candles. Happy birthday, Guild Wars 2. Congratulations, ArenaNet! Thank you for all of your hard work and dedication and giving us a place that we just love to go. A place to get away, a place to meet new friends, a place that we love to go. Thank you. Happy birthday!